allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Carter, would you give the invocation, please? Carter, sorry.
Father, first of all, we just want to thank you for loving us and Lord blessing us with so much good things in life. And Lord, just thank you that everything that happens about us, Lord, that you take note of and that you're involved in. And Lord, we love you and praise you for that. Thank you for this opportunity tonight. Lord, I ask that you bless these men and women as they take care of the business of the city of Kennett tonight. We thank you for our community. We ask that you bless it. Lord, we ask that you bless these folks as they conduct the business tonight, Lord, and help us to always keep our eyes on you and trust you for everything that we do in Jesus' name. Amen.
Right on into the agenda. In your packet, there's going to be the minutes from July 15th, 2014. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Changes? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Minutes have been approved. In your packet, you got the July abstract for the city of Kennett. I would entertain a motion to approve.
Motion.
We have a motion. They would have been sent to you by email. I was looking at the papers too, but yeah, sent to you at your home. We have a second. Any questions?
I haven't seen it.
It was in the email. It was in the email packet.
I'm told this council
He's
14
emailed us.
times.
Oh.
Well, what we'll do,
I
we'll,
did not get anything from this city council on that Windows 8 program I had.
all right, we'll set that to the side while the clerk gets that. Let's go ahead and go to number 7, CLGW's abstract for the month of May, June, and July. Is there a motion to accept the abstract from CLGW?
Motion. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Kind of wait around until the clerk gets back. Don't get too far off the agenda. I would like to know, while we're waiting on the clerk, status on Mr. Palmer, Councilman Palmer. He continues to improve with recent illness. He's had the best night he's had, continues to improve all nights. Without getting a whole lot of details, seems to be things are getting a little better for him. So let's be sure to keep him in our prayers as we go on. Tell you, they might have cut down a tree or two to this packet made.
By the time we print out also.
Yeah. would like to start back with a motion to approve the July abstract for the city of Kennett.
Motion.
A motion, we have a second.
You did it. You did have a second?
Yes, sir, we did.
Yes.
I'm just gonna give you a little bit of time to
No, fine.
take a look. Any correct questions or changes need to be made?
We'll see it.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. All right, we're moving to new business. A recommendation to hire municipal court deputy clerk.
I have the information from Judge Mauer. He's sorry he couldn't be here tonight. He was prepared to talk about it at our last meeting that was canceled for the kickball. And his recommendation is Brittany Bunch. She will be part-time, 24 hours a week, $10 an hour. And I'd like to make a motion that we approve this hiring.
It is a budgeted expense.
It is.
So there is a motion to approve, Ms. Bunch. Is there a second? Second. We have a second. Discussion. All in favor of hiring Ms. Bunch, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Reisner. Item B is public hearing of rezoning of 803 South Jackson from R1 to B2. This is time for public hearings. Anyone here tonight want to speak about the subject? If not, we'll close that. In your packets, there is an agreement between the Kennett School District and City of Kennett for the Indian Park agreement. It's, I think it's a pretty well standard agreement we approve just about every year with them. Is there a motion to approve this agreement with the City of, or Kennett School District?
Don't move.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Okay, item D. Discussion of tax-free weekend. I've asked the clerk to put this on the agenda. Every year we get asked this question. It was said several years back that we were not participate in the weekend of, it's like the first weekend of August. Back to school purchases, which I think it's like your school items, clothes, school supplies, varies up to a certain dollar amount. I just would ask the council to give a thumbs up or a thumbs down to this, and that way we can kind of sit this, you know, see what y'all's opinion would be on it.
Is that something we think makes us money, saves us money?
Saves,
Will we still get our income from the sales tax?
No.
Don't we?
Because it's tax-free.
But it, but we don't participate in it,
We get it now.
yeah. So I mean, if we
So
didn't,
that's what it costs to do.
yeah. So,
Have you ever been put the pencil, how much that costs? How much we're losing tax-wise if we did that?
no,
Unwindsome.
It's a lot of money that goes out of town that we,
Yeah.
just based on my family, my kids, spending my money.
there's a couple ways of looking at it. One, it helps our local business, you know, I don't know if it persuades people to go somewhere else because we don't have it, or it does, but
What about,
there is that argument there.
what about feedback from the businesses? Have we heard either way from them, from the business owner?
I've heard a few retail businesses that's
Far
asked
in.
about it, that's for having the sales tax holiday. That's why we don't participate. Have we
Would
received
this
it?
help the local business or be a burden on them if they had to implement that? I mean, would it be more for them to have to go through the change, everything for one day or for a weekend? I mean, is it
That I don't know. Is State of Missouri, do they collect the sales tax?
State does not collect Sales tax.
So that particular day only be no sales tax. The county, well, the county be there still.
Yeah. Well, I think the county opts out, I'm not sure.
Well,
I'm not sure about that either.
Maybe this is something that we can get some more information on. You know, as a member of the finance committee, I kind of hate to see us give up any income. But if we were to find out it's not that much income, you know,
If it helps our
Perhaps.
local businesses make more money and keep it from going out of town, like what Mr. Gore was saying, a lot of people
Well,
do go out of town.
you know, a lot of people are, regardless of tax-free holiday or not, they've got their plans for school shopping.
let's do this, Miss, could you see if we can find the answers out as to that detailed information on a daily basis? With that, we can, if the state would be able to help me weigh in on that. And we'll set this on the agenda for the next meeting. We're not in a rush because it's not till next year, so we can really take our time with it, but at least this opens the discussion, starts the ball rolling one way or the other.
I'd also be curious to know what the merchants, when they, you know, because it's limited to certain items. And so, you know, how much trouble is it for them to set up their processing, their computers or whatever else, so that,
Gotcha.
I know they got the barcode systems and all like that, which probably would expedite it somewhat, but it might be an additional nuisance for them to have to factor in and out those items.
Well, it's a good time you're here. You think the chamber could poll its members
Yeah.
and see if they would be
Yeah, I'd
receptive
be
to
happy
this?
to do that. As a former retailer, I have a very one-sided opinion on it, but I would be happy to ask the chamber members what they would like to do.
What is your one-sided opinion?
I think that the city needs to participate in a tax-free holiday. As a former retailer, we lost a lot of business to people within our chain in other cities who did participate in the tax-free holiday. As a retailer, it is not a nuisance because most retailers who are departmentalized have their departments already in their computer systems. So if your stationery is Department 3, you already know items under X dollar amount in stationery Department 3 will be tax exempt.
Is it just clothing, primarily just clothing and school supplies?
It's clothing items under $100 per item. I think it's computer software and hardware under $1,000 per item, and all stationery.
So it's
And it
not,
was craft supplies.
it's not gasoline or
Correct.
restaurants or anything like that?
And it was cosmetic items too. So you're looking at deodorant, cosmetics, stationery, rulers, pencils, pens, colors, any arts and crafts supplies and things that teachers could benefit with.
So maybe what we give up on taxes on those things, we get in other areas with people coming into town.
Correct, because
Eating and,
people who are going to buy that stationery and clothing items are also going to buy their paper goods items that aren't necessarily tax-free. So you aren't losing all of your sales tax for that holiday weekend, only a partial item. And your retailers are going to make that difference in their own businesses, and I think they will appreciate it. But I'll be happy to poll the chamber members and see what they would like to do and bring that to the next meeting.
I think that'd be very important as far as weighing the decision of council. So, we appreciate that. Anything else? Any other questions for information we want to find out? Okay. All right, discussion of mobile home ordinance. Received a call from a couple. They are interested in building a pre-manufactured home. Now, it's a little different from a mobile home. They're a lot different from a mobile home. It's a home that's built, the walls and everything built in the factory setting, hauls the job site assembled. Currently, our laws, and Terry, please help me if I need help somewhere, but basically they were set in motion years ago, probably prior to prefab homes.
They were set in motion in 1966, I think.
So they're somewhat dated. I think it'd be good of us, or I think we should look into revising, redoing some of the ordinance to reflect the changes that's been made over the 50 or 60 plus years.
And the way to do that, since it would be an amendment to the zoning ordinance, because that's what prohibits mobile homes, which just says mobile homes and trailers, would be to come up with something to suggest and send that through the planning and zoning commission. That's, so they would have a study, they can make a recommendation, they would have a hearing. And that would be the way to amend any zoning ordinance, is to run it through the planning and zoning.
Okay. Would you sit that, you can schedule a meeting for planning and zoning?
Well, and we've got to, and I think probably the thing to do is to, what do you want them to do? And how, you know, and I've discussed this with Victor at length, and there are ways, like if they are pre-assembled homes, most cities have ordinances which limit transportable homes. And if they're transportable, some cities have a different zoning where certain, you know, where mobile homes are allowed or transportable homes are allowed in certain areas. Or, you know, we might have different criteria for the homes, such as if they're less than 3 years old, and the state has automatically, as it is now, the state has to inspect it. We need to know basically what the council wants to do, or get it to planning and zoning and see what their thoughts are.
Does everybody know what I'm talking about with the prefab homes? Once they're there, they don't leave. They're, you know, they're pretty much on the foundation.
Do they roll them in on wheels?
On a flatbed truck.
Transportable. Yeah, and that's the question as to whether or not they really are mobile homes.
But they put them on a solid foundation, I mean, blocks or.
Yes.
or slab, they don't. It's
Yeah.
I think they're on wheels.
Yeah.
They do that on trailer park too, they roll it in and put it up on a slab.
Prefab, I was thinking of it, come on semi-trailers.
Yeah.
And you assemble them on the
Like they have
side.
half on one truck and half on
Yeah.
another truck going down the interstate.
They'll be fastened to a foundation.
Yeah, but they're transportable, that's, and generally they would fall under that definition of mobile. But I think the thing to do is to get it with planning and zoning and see, because, you know, that's where the planning part comes in. And it has to come, and to make anything like this work, it has to work within the plan of the city. So we need to get it to planning and zoning first.
Would you all have an issue with me getting with Victor and I, and going over this with the planning and zoning commission?
I'll be glad.
Okay. That'd be great, and then we can come back to council with the recommendation from the commission would be. Sounds good? Okay. If you care to give Victor a reminder tomorrow, just to kind of be looking some information up on the subject. Thank you. Item F, signing of MoDOT Highway 412 documents.
Okay, you have an ordinance on this, and what this document is, it's an agreement between the city and MoDOT, where this is a master reimbursable utility agreement. And what happens is that if there's a MoDOT project or a highway construction project, and the cities have to relocate some of the utilities, any of their lines or anything like that, the MoDOT will reimburse the city for the cost. On the 412 project at South of Town, City Light Gas and Water has incurred about $130,000 worth of expenses in relocating some of the utilities down there. And what this agreement is, it's a master agreement under which MoDOT will reimburse the city, not only for this project, but also for any future projects.
Is there a motion?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do it by ordinance. First reading is an ordinance authorizing the mayor to sign on behalf of the city of Kennett, Missouri, and the city clerk to attest thereto a master reimbursable utility agreement between the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission and the city of Kennett, Missouri, providing for the reimbursement of the city's costs to relocate or adjust the city's facilities required by the commission's highway projects.
Is there a motion to approve this ordinance?
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion. This will be a roll call
No,
vote.
no, the
Motion.
voice vote is just approving the first reading.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Second reading, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to sign on behalf of the city of Kennett, Missouri, and the city clerk to attest thereto a master reimbursable utility agreement between the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission and the city of Kennett, Missouri, providing for the reimbursement of the city's costs to relocate or adjust the city's facilities required by the commission's highway projects.
Is there a motion?
Motion. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Weatherby, second. Discussion. This will be a roll call vote.
Yes.
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 Motion passes.
$5.
5 copies. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and table item G's discussion of bidding summer mowing. Mr. Palmer, chairman of the street committee, I think it'd be, the other thing to do is just move that to the next meeting, or till the next meeting. Item H, New Wave Communications telephone proposal. I believe that's gonna be,
As we all know, for several years, we've had high telephone bills throughout the city. We've looked into different ways of getting this reduced, and I think this one will come up with it. People from New Wave, Kyle Acorn, and Brandon Taylor are here. If you have any questions, I think everybody's got the emails and stuff, and they're going to install a whole citywide system for all departments within the city. This building, also the new building, and every other building where department heads are at. It'll be a complete new system. Kristen sat in a meeting and everything with her is going to help her out. She, what phone call she gets, she can only push a button, send everything to them. It's going to be a high-tech new phone stuff. So there's a lot of things that we'll be able to use that we don't have now. So if you have any questions, and the savings, it's going to be tremendous on that part of it. That's what I like about it. And, we've already cut 2 other lines down, so it's going to be an additional savings what they can save. If you have any questions, would you like Kyle or Brandon to come up and speak on it?
Savings were about a third, wasn't it, Johnny? And I see it somewhere that we did.
I forget what the time frame was to get it all done.
So if you give their approval, they're within 10 days, they'll be up and running and getting ready to get everything started. I think they've got different numbers for it.
Is he speaking little ahead?
It'd be 10 days before. Obviously, there's lines that have to be ran in the buildings, some Cat 5 cable, there's equipment that needs to be ordered. We have worked with City Light on using the fiber infrastructure that's into the buildings already, so we've got the network and connectivity to all the buildings, but it would probably be about a 45-day turnaround to get the equipment ordered, 45 to 60.
In other words, on approval, they're set and ready to go. They're ready to get after it. Because this building over here still has no phone. Any other questions?
I do, yeah, the question has not been raised, but I just want to let the public know and anyone else that want to know. In case of a disaster, emergency, there is a,
Yes, sir.
there is a backup plan.
There is a backup plan, yes.
So we still have hard wires. Cell service goes down or internet goes down.
I was gonna ask what happens when the fiber optic cable gets cut or something like that.
Now, Johnny may be able to talk about this more, but the 911 system will still be in place with your current provider. We'll be providing phones and phone service to all the other buildings. Obviously, if there was a fiber cut, on our network or the cities, we work in conjunction to repair that as quickly as possible. But like I said, there are some redundant things and having a separate provider there.
We are an emergency set up for emergency operation, and that's part of their goal, and knowing that, something does happen within an hour, they're gonna have somebody here, it's in the contract, and within 4 hours on minor stuff, they'll have everything going, so. And that's pretty much on just about everything.
Any other questions?
Is there a set price, or do we know?
Let's go with pricing.
I mean, just,
It's on the back page.
That's on the last page. Do you have a copy?
For 60 months, if we choose to go 60 months, it would be $2,450. And for the 4 fax lines, an additional $100. It comes out to a total of $30,600 a year. What we paid last year just on the landline alone was over $45,000.
So 15,000 savings on the same product.
Without a new site, without, that's just with the system we got. That's not upgrading or updating with all this stuff.
A little over 1,000 a month savings. Any other questions?
Do we need a motion to move with it?
Yes, sir.
So move with both.
We have a motion to accept New Wave as our service provider. Were you asking something?
No, I'll second.
Okay, all right. We have a second. Discussion?
I have a question for these gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You have no way that you can contact your city office here, can you? What I'm saying, you can't dial direct from here to out there.
We have we do have a local number, but it does go into.
I know it
Yes,
goes,
sir.
okay. We were told when New Wave bought the system that we would have a number where you could contact them in town. Not calling Saxton or wherever, but in town. And that hadn't happened.
And I know that number is available if the folks in the office, if their phone is on wrap-up or not available, it will route to Sykeston. Now, but that number, that local number is set to route to Kennett first, as long as the folks in the office don't have their phone on a wrap-up.
So what he's saying is if they're with another customer, instead of you just sitting there on hold, we route it to somebody that could potentially be available.
But we
I just
don't,
wanna know what we were told when New Wave bought out the system.
you are correct, we have a local number that routes there first, but it doesn't stay there. If they're not available, it does go into, to the call group where either Dexter or Sykeston or, even now that we have Pop and Bluff, could route to one of those local offices, could even route to, over to Pickett. I could address with our team, if we could have a dedicated line that just sat there, but, it may increase hold times or until somebody's available, and then, also, I guess, after hours, it would either need to be routed to the call center, or otherwise you're just going to voicemail.
Will this be the same case if the city has problems with the phone, if we go to this service, will we have the same problem?
You will be able to call, we have two things, we have, and we presented to Johnny, we've got a special 800 number for businesses. There's also our